I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. I said I'd enjoy fairing this, and that was a lie. This is not at all enjoyable. Sanding, fairing is a horrible job, but the result is very satisfying. Very satisfying. So this is what I've managed to do this morning. I've established a nice line along the chine, and I'll add some thin fairing compound to that and head over to the starboard side and try and achieve the same result. For being a complete novice at this, an amateur, I'm very pleased with the results. There's a whole section here that's low, but then I'll have to add some extra fairing compound here, but yeah, not bad at all. I am pretty pleased with the results I got today. I faired this whole lower edge and established a line on the chine. And then refilled the low spots, and yeah, I'm pleased with myself. I'm going to be doing the same thing tomorrow, I think, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. This line is pretty straight, pretty decent, and that was something I wasn't sure on how to get right. It's looking pretty good now. Not perfect, but I'll get there. And then, just for fun, I filled out the weave pattern on the bow. Yeah, with every piece of fairing compound that comes onto this boat, it's looking more and more like something that's ready to go into the water. Which is gonna be a while.
Packed some bags and we headed west. Thought that it might be the best thing for us. I was thinking about me and all the things that you'd leave behind. Family and a peace of mind. And I got you. I am gonna love you till the stars go out. Shelter up above you till they all fall
So, after another day of glorious sanding, this is what I have. I have a pretty smooth surface with a lot of pinholes, and that's probably because I was laying this on pretty thick and wanted it to be more filler than epoxy. So that's what happens then. It builds higher, but it's harder to get to adhere to the surface. But it's looking pretty good. So my plan now is to fill in all of these millions of pinholes and add some extra material here, and then call it a day. There is only so much sanding you can do in a day. So sanded down this whole curve. Gotten it pretty fair actually, but full of little pinholes. Yeah. And I've added some material here on the bow to fix a weird sort of shape here, but I'll probably be the only one who knows about it ever. But anyway, yeah. There's always a few that you miss. I think that's gonna be impossible to avoid. So, I'm doing my best. It's time to flatten out all these filled low spots and re-establish this line, and then work on it particularly in this area where I had a very long low. And also I wasn't quite happy with how it turned out here in the front. I'll work some more on that.
My mind is a minefield. Watch your step, that's not a threat, no. My heart is a house of cards. They had those shaky hands, they let me fall apart.
All right, it's not perfect, but I'm pretty happy with this lower edge here, and the line looks almost perfect. So for an amateur, I'd say I've done a pretty decent job. And now the chine is sharp, so any imperfections are quite clearly visible. I'll keep it sharp until the very last fairing, and then just round it off ever so slightly. And that, I believe, will get rid of any imperfections, any visible imperfections. Oh, but now I'm getting ready to fair these panels, and I've been working with this fairing compound now for a while, but not that much really, and trying to lay it on thin like here, and mixing various amounts of epoxy with various amounts of filler to get a good consistency for building volume, like here and here, and then matching that with something that actually sticks to the material. what I'm afraid of is if I mix it too runny, it'll come on beautifully, but it'll be hell to sand off. But there's only one way to find out, eh? So I'll get onto it. Mix a runny batch of epoxy filler and hope I can sand it down later without too much trouble. Okay, I'm giving up for today. It's not that all the fairing that's ever going to be needed is done on this hull side. Probably regrettably far from it. But my fingers are killing me. Spreading all this filler is yeah. A pretty tough job. Doesn't sound like much, but yeah, it's yeah, it's heavy work, and so was all the sanding I did before. So I'm quite pleased with what I've done today. Part of this filler, I think I might have mixed slightly too runny. It's not quite filling as much as I would wish. You can see an example of it there, I believe. And yeah, it's a shame. I should have had just a little bit more fairing compound in the mix in this section. And yeah, but anyway, I think I'm pretty close to a sufficiently flat hull once I've sanded this down. There's going to be some bumps, but my plan is to take this down as nicely as I can and then paint it. That'll get rid of all the scratch marks and all that, and all that's going to be left is like bigger indentations, and then I'll fill them with lightweight fairing compound that sands faster and easier than the epoxy surrounding it. So that should, well, theoretically work quite well. Anyway, the port side is definitely becoming, or starting to look like a boat. It's a bit premature to put the port hose in, but I'd love to. Yeah.
The birds fly south as the light leaves your eyes.